Hello everyone. Today our topic is variational calculus. So what is variational calculus? Variational calculus. So we will start with one example, and the example is we will take like suppose we are having a particle here, and uh, it has to go from point A to point B in the same vertical plane, right? So suppose point A is here and point B is here. Okay, so we have to find a path from A to B such that time is minimum. Okay, so for that we have to devise a way. So there's the shortest path is obviously this one, and there are so many other ways from which we can reach from A to B, right? So the idea is here to find out the minimum time. So here time is minimum, T is minimum, right? So what is time? Time is total length, right? Length divided by velocity, right? So and here obviously it is gravitational field is there, and then we have to find out the minimum time, right? So the shortest path is from A to B is this straight line, we know it. Then but this will not give the minimum time, right? Because length is here, this one, and some other ways are also there, like let's see here. Suppose we are here, from here to here we are going, this is A, this is B. So from A to B there are one way is this one. Now let's take this one. So obviously from if we are going from here to here, what will happen? It will accelerate up to here. So obviously velocity will be very high. So most of the time velocity will be very high. So obviously this is a better choice than this one. Then what about the other one? Like let's take this one. So this is a very low velocity, almost zero, and from here also very low velocity. So this is not an option, right? So this is a good option, but this is even better option seems like. So what? But there are other ways also we have to find out, because there are two things: length and velocity. So so this is the problem, and you may be surprised to know that this is a classical problem. This is not an ordinary problem. This is a classical problem, and it is we can try this problem here like this way. Suppose we are having here, this is the path, we don't know what will be the path here, but let's take here. That's here we are having, okay. So this is, here we are having, this is suppose we are having here, this is the ds, length is ds here, okay. So what is ds? Can we write ds here as dx square plus dy square, okay. So this will give us ds is equal to this one root, so dx 1 plus dy by dx, right? So we can write ds in this form, and instantaneous time at we can take the coordinate like this is x and this one is y, right? This one x1, y1, and this is x2 and y2. Obviously this is 0 0, and this is x2 y2. So what we have to do at any instant of time, here it is in dt time, what is the what is the ds? It is ds here, and velocity v, okay. So how to find out ds? Ds we have already calculated. It's dx 1 plus dy by dx whole square divided by uh, v. So what is v here? Because the here this is y, right? So it's a free falling. So because no friction is there, no friction, right? No dissipation. So it's a root over 2gy. This is very easy, we know it. this is the dt. So how to find the total time? T will be dt, this one. So it will be 1 plus dy by dx whole square divided by root over 2zy dx. So this is the total time taken. Now this is what we know that till now, that how to find out a function. Suppose this is a function here. We know how to find out the minima, right? We know how to find out the minima, but we don't know how to solve this kind of problem till now with the regular calculus method. So that's why we have to devise a new way, some new method we have to learn. And this is the problem which is classical problem, and it is known as Brachistochrone problem. 1696, and this problem is posed by Johann Bernoulli. So the problem was, he has given the problem like find the path for a ball from point A to point B in the same vertical plane. That takes minimum time. So this problem was posed by Johann Bernoulli, right? So at that time, and after he has given this problem, so many other people tried to solve it, and finally Newton also solved this problem. Johann Bernoulli and his brother Jacob Bernoulli. So this problem is solved by Newton, Jacob Bernoulli. So, and after this one, this problem and some other problem, that made a separate area of mathematics to solve this kind of problem, where we are having not only function. We are not trying to find out minima of a function. Rather, what we are trying to find out a function itself. So that gives rise to a new area of mathematics to address this kind of problem, right? So that is called variational calculus. So now we will formally define variational calculus and see some. We will see that how it. What are the conditions to find out? Like here we have dy by dx is equal to 0, right? So here for finding minima we have dy by dx. So in the same way, variational calculus, how to find out the condition for the minima. Variational calculus is a branch of mathematics, right? It's a branch of mathematics in which we try to find out maxima, minima of a functional, right? So what is functional? It's a new term here, right? It's a one new terminology here. Till now we have seen what is function, right? But we have never seen what is functional. So so first we will know what is functional. It's called function of a function. So this is called function of a function. So now let's take one example and with the help of that we will understand how what are the functional what is functional and what are the variational operator and all these things. So suppose we are having here, this is x and y, the function of x, and suppose we are having here point A and this is point B. Like the histochrone problem, here also we are trying to find out minimum of a function, right? So sorry, minimum of a functional. So here what we are doing here, we are suppose this is our optimum curve, additional operator. This is called variational operator. So and this one is having the same kind of property what we used to do in the like differential operator. Same like a differential operator. Like suppose we are having here a function f dx, and if we apply the delta operator, then it will be, we can take it inside f dx. Second thing, like that, suppose we are having this thing du by dx, so we can write here d, okay, and other things like u plus v is equal to delta u plus delta v. So all these properties of delta operator is similar to the differential operator. Okay, with these things we can start here to find out. We try to force it, this delta y to 0, right? So how to do it? For this one we are making a functional here. So suppose I take it as from x1 to, this is x1, this is x1 y1. So this boundary condition is given x1 and y1, and we know that at x1 y1 there is no error, right? And here also there is no error. So it's this condition, boundary condition is given. So we can write here from x1 to x2 f x y dy by dx. Okay, now now we can write here with variational operator, we can write here x1 to x2, here we are writing just f. Okay, so this one we can write here like x1 to x2, and del this one right. So now we have, from here we can easily write this one, right? Now from this one, let's take this for this one we can further, we can simplify this one like it will be right. So this thing we are having, and here delta y here at point x1 is, delta y is 0, right? And delta y at x2 is also 0. So this one will vanish, right? So we are just left with this term. So now again we are putting it back here. So let's see what we are getting. We are getting from x1 to x2 this quantity here, del partial of f with respect to y, and this one we can write minus d by dx partial of f with respect to y dash and here we can write this thing. Now we know that delta y is arbitrary, right? This one is arbitrary. So it shows that, and this one delta y we want it to be minimum, right? It should be, ideally it should be 0. So this will force us to have this one as 0. So this one will be, it will force us to make this one 0. Now 0. Now this quantity, this is known as very famous Euler-Lagrange equation. Okay, so now we will write it again here. Now let's write here Euler-Lagrange equation. This we can write as partial of f with respect to y minus d upon dx partial of f is equal to 0. So this is just one independent variable is here. If we are having more than one, like let's take, if we are having z also, then it will be and suppose it is we are having only first order here y dash. Suppose we are having y double dash also, then it will be 0. So these are all these can be derived, and all these are called Euler-Lagrange equation or simply Euler equation. So this is very famous, and why it is so important? It is important because it makes our life easy, and it gives us the condition for an optimum curve, optimum path. It's analogous to what we are having here in the differential calculus. We are having dy by dx is equal to 0, right? In the same way, here we are having del f this quantity, right? This equation is analogous to dy by dx is equal to 0. So both gives us the condition for the minima or maxima. We have to but this is just a necessary condition. This is not the sufficient condition. We have to remember it. Okay. Now we can compare what is variational calculus here. Variational calculus and regular calculus. So what different we can observe, like we can now observe. One thing is here concept of functional is here, right? Functional concept of functional. Here concept of function is there, right? So it's a function of a function. Function of a function. Second, what we are having here condition is dy by dx is equal to 0, but here condition is Euler-Lagrange equation. Okay. So what other things we have seen here? We can take third one. We can write here it was differential operator dx, and here it is variational operator. Operator, right? So there are other things also, but these things let's take one problem from the structural mechanics. We are taking one beam, Euler-Lagrange beam here. This is as a Lagrange beam, and it's simply supported with UDL. UDL value P. Length is L. Okay. So we have to suppose we have to find out the nature of the curvature, right? How it's because of the loading, how it will be deformed. So for that, what we can do here, we can, one way is, and obviously here one boundary condition is y0 is equal to 0, y L is equal to 0, dy by d2y upon dx is equal to 0, ei d2y upon dx square is equal to 0, because moment here, moment is 0, right? So these are the boundary conditions. Now we have to solve this one. Okay, so we know that the equation for this one is equal to P. Now this is fourth order equation, right? So the same thing we can reduce it to we can write the same expression for the variational calculus, and that will be, it will be 0. Now you can check here, solving this one and solving this one. Here we are having fourth order equation. Here we are having second degree equation. So this is the variational form of the equation, right? So it's now what we can do in finite element method. What we do, we take one approximate function for the y, and with the help of Rayleigh-Ridge method or other method, we try to solve it. Okay, so you can see that how much life becomes easy if you sometime if you reduce the problem to the variational problem. Again, I want to tell you that not all problem of structural mechanics can be solved